Kentucky, and those are where those major interstates are getting hit hard. This is video from Lexington, Kentucky, where they've gotten significant snow. They've gotten 8 inches of snow, and so look at what happens to the interstate there. Completely a standstill. Does this remind you of I-95? Yep.
Hey guys, so we've gotten to the beekeeping conference. There's a lot of people here, way much more than the Tennessee conference. As you could tell, there's different people walking around. They have different stations here. I want to thank Kamon Reynolds again for letting me to be able to come here. After this clip, I'm going to show you another clip of everything they have here. It's really a lot of stuff. And I'm definitely going to buy me a few things like a t-shirt or what else was I was wanting to buy Kent Williams hive tool. You guys probably know who that is. He gave a talk at 2 conferences ago, and where was that? I think that was Tennessee too. But anyways, let me get to the clip of showing you guys everything. Alright, so that was all of the different booths here. There is a lot of different types of them. If the camera's a little shaky, I'm sorry. I'm filming this with one hand, so I'm sorry. But there's lots of different booths. There's people talking about back there. Their name is, the person who's talking right now, is it Kent Williams? Yeah, it's Kent Williams. That's a good person who's talking right now. And I just met a few other YouTubers. And yeah, so I'll see you guys on my next clip. Hey guys, so this is Kamon Reynolds, as you guys probably already know, but this is one of our many interviews we've had today. But anyways, let's get started with this interview. Alrighty, so first, how did you get started with beekeeping, and how long have you been a beekeeper?
First of all, thanks for coming, Darien. I'm glad you're able to come to our conference. And I've been beekeeping since I was 14. I'm 33 now, so it's been a long day. I'm not sure how accurate my math will be, so you all can do the math if you want to know. But 18 years-ish, thereabouts. It's hard to believe because you know, when I started, it seemed like 33 was so old, and now here I am at 33, and I still feel like I'm 14. I'm still learning a lot of stuff, but yeah, I've been doing it for a little while.
Thank you. And what is your future goals?
My future goals? Oh man, that could take 4 or 5 hours, but I'll summarize it pretty quick. Our main goal is to help beekeepers out. We really love the beekeeping industry. We love the inventors of products. We love the beekeepers, and we love the bees, obviously, or we wouldn't do it. And so our goal is to do what we can to help beekeepers be able to get access to information that will help them be successful. Also to be able to hopefully inspire invention and change and innovation, so that basically it's better for beekeepers here in the United States and other places. And as far as my own beekeeping goals, I would like to do a lot more research. I would like to continue to test, see what is affecting our bees and what we can do with the products available to control it, and also what can we do biologically to help breed a bee that is better.
Okay, and the next is, what do you think that the bees impact on the environment?
Well, the bees impact the environment it's huge. It's really underrated, and you know, a lot of people get a little scared and stuff about, you know, if the honeybees die, we're all going to go with them. It's a little more complicated than that. Honeybees aren't even native to North America. However, they are still really important because as humans, we're heavily dependent on agriculture, people producing apples, oranges, grains. Clover seed is made a whole lot better by bees, so they impact most everything. The cattle industry, helping clover reproduce, all kinds of different things. So when bees are healthier, so is the environment around them. And I have seen it with my own parents' property. When I put bees 18 years ago, the plants that the bees prefer have reproduced, and there's more of those type of plants than there was 18 years ago, without a doubt.
Okay, thank you. And what challenges have you had being a beekeeper?
early on, the biggest challenge that I had was just trying to figure out what information was good, and also just experience. And that's just something that you can't teach. Our YouTube videos, you know, we try to tell people what's going on here, or, you know, at the conference we try to show folks stuff, but you can't give somebody experience. I can't just hand that to you. You actually have to either go and work with someone like I've seen you do before in your videos, and also you know, going and getting into the beehives and learning things and making mistakes, and that's just part of the process, whether it's beekeeping or anything. So early on, just access to good information, getting that experience, and learning how much to feed, too much, too little, learning my area, because where you keep bees there's a lot of differences than where I keep bees. So it's not like some other industries, like let's say you're a printing press and you're making newspapers. If you print those papers up in Indiana versus Tennessee, there's not a whole lot of difference in printing paper, because you know, the weather's not involved. But for that, that's a little bit tricky. So a lot of variables with beekeeping. But if you like a challenge, beekeeping is definitely for you. And I know you, Darien, you like a challenge.
Yes, I do. So that was the last question. I want to thank you for letting me to be able to come out here, because I wouldn't have came out here if it wasn't for you.
Well, so, I think it was well worth it. Obviously, we have a scholarship program that we're starting, and Darien is one of the first, and we're more than thankful and happy that he came, because this is the future of beekeeping. And I have kind of ulterior motives here, because you know, if we keep the young people involved, then we get them to work for us, and hopefully they'll figure out some of these problems so I don't have to do it. So I'm hoping they continue to do well and grow, and there's so much potential in young people. And you know, Darien's already doing a lot. That's the reason I asked you, because you're already active. I don't want to get somebody who's just kind of like, well, that's all right. You're already doing so much. So I appreciate you, Darien.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, and let me know if I can do anything in the future.
Thank you. Hey guys, so you guys also might know who this is, and we're going to be doing another interview, so let's get started. The first question is, what's your YouTube name?
My YouTube name is Yappy Bee Man.
Okay. How did you get started with beekeeping?
I actually got started in beekeeping when my wife and I wanted to get into medicinal medicine, where we take plants, tree bark, roots, different things like that, and we turn them into a natural medicine. One of the things that I got into through that was the honey and all its medicinal properties. So that was the angle that I took, really enjoyed it, and it just kind of, you know, catapulted me into beekeeping.
Okay, that's interesting. So when did you get started?
I'm going into my 10th year of doing things with bees. Every year, everything just kind of grows, just one more step up into it.
Nice. How much do you think that the bees impact this earth?
Anybody that gets into beekeeping, I believe, knows the major impact that we have with bees. We need them for pollination, you know, on everything we got. What a lot of people don't look at in the pollination side is how much the bees impact the pollination of natural things, where without having the bees to pollinate something like a privet hedge bush, okay, to keep those berries growing, and just all of our local wild birds actually will eat the little berries that come off of something so simple as a privet bush. And in the wintertime, when things get really cold and they're foraging looking for food, well, that's one of the things that they go for. See, so the honeybees don't just pollinate our food, they pollinate the food for all of nature.
That's very interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
So the last question is, what's the challenges that have been for you with beekeeping?
The challenges for me were, started out, everybody would look at it from a financial standpoint. Beekeepers, we can never have enough bees. We get one box, we want more. And the cost of the things that involve keeping bees has gone up. So one of the biggest challenges, I think, is actually just the availability of the funds to continue to grow through the process.
Okay. Well, that was the last question, so I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you, taking the time to ask me the questions. Congratulations on your channel. I hope to see it do really well. And you guys make sure that you're sharing his stuff, okay? So that way, you know, his channel can grow and he can come to more events like this and get to meet people that you guys might want to meet one day.
Yes, sir. And make sure you guys go subscribe to him if you guys are not already subscribed to him. I'm going to put his channel in the description as well. So everything's going to be all cleared. We're going to be good to go.
Well, I appreciate that. Look forward to you guys in my comments. See ya.
All right, guys, we're at one of the people's booths that work here. They have their own little booth here, and we want to talk about it. So, how did you get started with this?
So, I started Honeybee Tennessee 5 years ago. I realized a need for the youth, your age group especially, and I started a nonprofit called Honeybee Tennessee, and we raise funds to help implement bee programs into schools and other educational facilities.
Nice. And what do you think the challenges have been for you with that?
Raising money. It's hard to ask people for money. It's hard to ask your friends for money, even though that you're friends. It's hard to receive funds and not know what to do with it, and making sure that it's going to be used appropriately and in a good way.
Thank you. And also, how do you think the bees impact the environment?
They impact the environment a lot. Honeybees are a crucial part to our environment. As you know, the pollination that they provide to our ecosystem is huge, and I think it's really important that as beekeepers of this generation and the generation past, that we educate the future generations.
Thank you. And what's your future goals for your company?
My future goal is to have a bee program in at least half the high schools in the state of Tennessee, and to have honeybees in every zoo in the state of Tennessee.
Okay, and is there any link or any website they can go to if they want to donate? Or?
Yes, they can go to honeybeetn.org. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Honeybee Tennessee.
Okay, and we'll link that in the description for you guys, so you guys can just click the button and you guys be right there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hey guys, so you probably know who this is. I'm going to pop his channel in the description below, so make sure you guys go check that out if you don't know who he is. But anyways, we're going to hit him with some questions. So first, what's your YouTube name?
YouTube channel is 628 Dirt Rooster, and we're at the Hive Life Conference in Sevierville, Tennessee right now.
Thank you. And then how did you get started in beekeeping?
My brother talked me into helping him with a cutout, and I was a contractor, and he needed a way to get into a hive that was up in a 160-year-old building, and needed somebody that knew how to get to it, how to do the construction part of it. And we got to the bees, and we weren't able to get them out, but I just found it interesting, so I went and did a cutout on a hive that was in a building at a hunting camp that I knew about, and that's where I got hooked. I got 2 hives out of that, and that's how I started, and that was 12 years ago. I was 40 years old when I started beekeeping.
How many years ago was that?
12. Yeah.
I was this is going on my 2nd season.
Nice. That's all right. Keep it rolling.
Thank you. So when did you get started?
2010.
Okay. And how much do you think that the bees impact the earth?
How much do bees impact the earth?
How much?
They have a pretty good impact on it. All pollinators do, but bees are, especially in our society, in our monocrop culture, we have to have them to feed the people that we feed. So
we have one more.
Okay.
What challenges have you had?
The biggest challenge for me is time. I'm running several businesses, so having the time to manage my colonies properly is a big challenge for me. So I get help when I can, and doing regular inspections and all that kind of thing becomes a challenge at certain points, just because of the business end of everything else that's taking my time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Good to meet you in person, because I've seen some of your videos before, and And keep doing it. Great channel.
And his channel will be in the description, so please go check his channel out.
Thank you, man.
So
thank you.
Yeah. Well, I hope you have a wonderful day.
You too. Enjoy the conference.
You too.
All right.
So as you guys may know, this is horizontal hives. He makes these wonderful hives, and we're gonna ask him a few questions. So let's get to it. So how did you get into starting making these horizontal hives?
Well, you know, Darren, my grandfathers had top bars, both of them actually, and as I was a young kid like yourself, you know, I thought, well, beekeeping, you know, but later in life, my buddy, he has bees, and I started watching Randy the Dirt Rooster, watching his videos of how the bees kind of get in the rafters and the floorboards, and I said, hey, I want me a horizontal hive. So I got on the internet and said, hey, I'm trying to find the hive that I want, and I couldn't find one. So I said, hey, I'm gonna build my own, and I put it in the building. You know, it filled the whole hive up. We had a deep on top, and they actually put a super on top of that. So it was really amazing to me how well the bees took to it. So, yep. And
then also you made this. Can you explain to us what this is? It's not exactly a horizontal hive, but it is.
Yeah. So
what is this one right here?
So this is a little bit different kind of horizontal hive because you can actually use this for queen rearing. It does 12 queens or 6 nukes, or it'll turn into 3 deeps, or 2 hives, or a whole hive. So it really gives the beekeeper as many options as they want, and that's a little unusual with a vertical hive and very unusual with a horizontal hive. Nice. Yep.
So I see you've been doing a good job, so we're going to go to your other.
All right, let's walk over here and see.
So this is another horizontal hive. We're going to let him do this since he's the professional.
Well, I'll definitely say I'm not no professional. I'm probably not one of the better beekeepers out here, but I do like building hives. So this is a basically like a flow hive or an auto frame system. And basically, if you're a backyard beekeeper and you don't want to spend a lot of money in an extractor, what this allows you to do is to open your frames up and get your honey out. So if you had 1 or 2 hives, why do you want to spend $1,000 on an extractor? So this allows you to do that.
Nice. Well, I appreciate it. And one last question is, where can they find to get one of these?
Well, you can check me out on horizontalbees.com. But let me tell you something, folks. This is a good kid right here, and y'all need to watch him and give him a lot of thumbs up. So if you ain't subscribed, subscribe to this kid. He's awesome.
Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate you, Darren.
Alrighty guys, we met some more beekeepers. They have their own YouTube channel. Make sure you guys go check out their channel. What is your guys' channel name?
We're the Sideline Beekeeper, Craig Branch.
Go check that out. That's going to be in the description below, so you guys can just go tap that. Alrighty, we met some more beekeepers, and they have their own little podcast going on. What's your guys' podcast name?
Country Beekeeper Show.
Nice, and here's their little booth right here. They've been doing podcasts with people, and I was on one of their podcasts, and it was pretty cool. But there's their logo, and I'm going to link these. I'm going to link them in the description below, so please go check out their channel. Hey guys, so this is going to be another interview, so let's get it started. First, we're going to ask, what is your name?
My name is Natalie. Some people might know me as Beekeeping Like a Girl on YouTube.
So yeah, she does have a YouTube. We're going to put that in the description below as well, so make sure you guys go check her out. No problem.
Thank you.
So we're going to ask, how did you get started with beekeeping?
So I got started beekeeping mainly for my dad. He had wanted to do it for a couple years in advance, and I always followed him around with pretty much everything. It was like kind of like a little minion that always followed him. And so when he got into beekeeping, I was just there right along with him. And basically, when I saw he was was doing it, I was like, I want to do that. And so I started doing it. At the time I was 8, so I didn't think much of it. And I was kind of like, yeah, you know, it's just a beekeeping thing. Here I am today being interviewed by a bunch of people, which is crazy, and I'm really thankful for that. But mainly it was my dad, so I owe a lot of credit to him. But of course my mom, because she kept me going when I didn't want to keep doing it. So yeah, mainly my parents for sure.
Nice. And what's your future goals?
Future goals, I have a lot of big dreams. I saw something one time, it was about if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And my dreams definitely scare me, so I have some pretty big goals, big dreams to hopefully do in the future. I was just talking to somebody. Hopefully I'll go to college and do entomology. I think, you know, what Bob's doing is really cool, maybe doing a little bit of commercial beekeeping, and I would like to sell some queens, do a lot of grafting, been looking at that for sure. So right now the goal would be around 100 hives, and then once I have my own business and moved out, kind of doing what I want to do and not, I kind of joke around that I'm like working for my parents right now, so I just kind of do what they want me to do. And so those are a couple of things that I would like to do for sure. So yeah. And
how do you think that the bees impact our society or the earth?
A lot of ways, actually. So one thing I think some people might fail to mention a little bit is the fact that most of the food that we are eating, we wouldn't be able to have if we didn't have it for the bees. I've seen a lot of things. I'm taking the Master Beekeeping program right now for the University of Florida, and actually one of the first few videos explains a burger, just like a hamburger would be. I can't remember what it was exactly, but it would pretty much be nothing if we didn't have the bees. So they help out way more than we actually realize, and they do a lot of stuff for us. And actually, like, getting stung is really good for our body. It might not seem like it, but it is. And then there's a lot of different ways. Most of the things we wouldn't have, and the colors outside that you would see, all the flowers and everything, we wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the bees. So I don't know if anybody's ever seen the Bee movie, but that's a good example. I mean, by the end of it, it's like it's just gray outside. So that's a good example. So yeah, a lot of different ways.
Thank you. So the last question is, what challenges have you had being a beekeeper?
A lot. If you haven't had any challenges as a beekeeper, I don't believe you, and I'm sorry, I just don't, because beekeeping is an adventure, and that's why I like it, because it's not the same for anybody. It's completely different for everyone, which is good for us to do stuff like this, communicate with each other, and just kind of figure out stuff along the way, because everything is different for each other. But for me, I have experienced a lot. Last year we lost about 15 nukes due to the lack of feeding them, because we were just, I guess we just weren't in our heads that day. And I remember it was like raining outside, and we had to get the splits done that day. So stuff like that. I mean, we've had really bad days working the bees. Let's see what else. We've lost a good amount of colonies coming out of winter. Stuff like that. I also experienced a lot of things on YouTube, just comments that can sometimes get to you. You have to have thick skin for that. You probably have experienced that a little bit. And so yeah, I mean, I could do a list for sure. I mean, I'm not ashamed to say it, because I think to show the things and say the things that have happened to you in your beekeeping experience is actually really cool. It's always nice to be honest to people, and it kind of just shows the work that you've gone through and things you have learned, because as a lot of people say, you learn from your mistakes, and that's very true. And so I'm trying to think of some other things that have happened. It's like I can't think of stuff like on the spot, but I know we have had challenges, and I want to be completely honest with that. And everybody's going to. It's just part of beekeeping. So yeah, I think that's good. Maybe.
Well, I definitely appreciate you doing this with me.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. So thank you so much for having me.
No problem.
Yeah, your YouTube channel is really cool, and I'm definitely going to watch a lot of your videos, and I can't wait to look at that. I've gotten a lot of cool channels recommendations. So. But yeah, I think it's really cool that you're doing it. I know, how old are you exactly?
I'm 15.
15, okay. So you know what it's like a little bit as a younger person being in beekeeping. It's different, and it's hard, and it can be a little difficult sometimes. But yeah, you're doing a really good job.
Thank you. You are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
Of course. And we appreciate you guys watching, because without you guys...
Yeah, I probably wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for these people. So I owe a big thank you to all of you guys, for sure.
So make sure you guys go check her channel out. I'm sure she posts pretty good videos. So thank you guys. Hey guys, so this is our interview for the second day of the Bee Conference. And let's get this started. First, what is your name?
My name is Joe Newland.
Okay, and what's your YouTube name?
Oak Ridge Bees.
Okay, and that will be linked in the description for you guys. So, second question is, how did you get started beekeeping?
I actually started with my grandfather when I was 8 years old. That was a long time ago. And I kind of got out of beekeeping when my kids were growing up, you know, and when they were real small. And I got back in probably 20 years ago, and now I'm hooked.
Okay, and how do you think the environment impacts the bees?
Well, I'm sure that it does on some level, but it's more weather than environment. And I think that it's human action that affects them more than anything. I live in an area where there's lots of agriculture, and the farm implements keep getting bigger and bigger, and they take the fence rows out and they take the trees out to farm. So that's as big an impact on them as anything.
And then last question, what is the challenges for you that you've had?
Time. Just, I still work full-time. I'm working to be a full-time beekeeper, and so right now I'm at the stage where it's almost full-time to take care of all my bees, and I'm still working full-time. So my biggest challenge is just having the time to do it all.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Thank you.
You having fun?
Yes, I am.
All right, buddy.
Hey guys, so this is going to be another interview. We are with...
I'm Jose, the California Beekeeper.
And his YouTube description will be in the description below. His YouTube link will be in the description below. See, that's why I switched my name to the Backwards Beekeeper, because I say stuff backwards. But anyways, let's get on with this interview. So basically, how did you get started with beekeeping?
Well, I got started beekeeping as a part-time job. Got fascinated with the bees, and then one thing led to another. Queen production, I learned how to rear queens, and that fascinated the science to rearing queens and producing queens. Just blew my mind, and then I got into genetics and started getting into really fascinated, and that's where my passion came from, was the queen breeding of the side of beekeeping that really got me going.
Nice. And what is your future goals for beekeeping?
My future goals for beekeeping, I would say, is getting up to 500 beehives for this year, increasing my nuke numbers from 1,500 to 2,500 nukes, and really being able to bring more content for people to share our experience and knowledge that other people can benefit. Kind of the same thing that you're doing, you know, sharing your experience, so we can give that to other people that are lacking some information that they could use.
Okay, and what do you think that the bees have an impact on the environment? What do you think the big impact is?
The big impact, you know, I think our pollinators, not just honeybees, but all pollinators are important for our ecosystem. I think without the honeybees, you know, we are going to lack a lot of our food supply, and honeybees are are very important for our food supply chain here for the world. So, you know, without the honeybees and the climate, there's climate change that's happening, so many factors, and I think it's us coming together as just, even if you're not beekeepers, just keeping in mind, an open mind, that pollinators are important to us and everybody. Planting flowers, putting water for, if you see bees that are going into your pool, just putting some extra water out in your bird feeders for the honeybees. So honeybees are just important all the way around, just like any other pollinator.
Thank you. And also, what is the challenges for you, do you think you've had?
You know, my challenges as a beekeeper in California have been dealing with wildfires. This year we lost, you know, some bees in California's largest wildfire called the Dixie Fire. We lost half of our bee yard there, which was a hard blow for us, but definitely a hard blow for people that got affected by the fire that weren't beehives, that were actually their home. But for me, it was a big loss. My challenge is also our Varroa mites. I think like any other beekeeper, like as yourself, you know, finding ways to treat Varroa is very challenging. But I think that, you know, us being together and networking with other guys, sharing tips on how to treat Varroa or go about Varroa is going to be a very rewarding thing for everybody. But challenges, I mean, it's a challenge, and I guess like beekeepers, we overcome those challenges and we learn something all the time by those challenges.
Yes, we do, and I want to thank you for doing this interview with me.
Awesome,
I really
man.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Darien.
No problem.
Awesome.
So we're at Apame USA. We sell insulated beehives for the beekeeper. One of the great things about having an insulated beehive is that it helps your bees manage their internal hive temperature a whole lot easier, which makes them healthier, makes it easier for them to handle hot temperatures, cold temperatures, and everything in between. They're easy to manage, never have to paint them, they're very durable, handle full sun really, really well. It just makes a beekeeper's life a whole lot easier to manage their bee health when using one of our hives.
Alrighty guys, we have another interview here, and your name is?
Gus Mitchell.
And you are from where?
I'm from Big Stone Gap, Virginia, but I keep bees in the Memphis area of Tennessee and West Memphis area of Northeast Arkansas.
Alrighty, so let's get this interview started. So first, we're going to ask, how did you get started beekeeping?
My great-grandfather back in the mountains, he kept bees before I was born. He always talked about bees, and at the time I was working on a drilling rig. I had 2 weeks off at a time, and I needed something to fill my time, and I just fell in love with honeybees.
And how long ago was that?
Well, that was about 12 years ago.
Okay. And what are your future goals for beekeeping?
Well, I recently was accepted as a member of the Russian Honeybee Breeders Association. I have 2 years to submit stock that will pass the stringent DNA testing that they do with the USDA lab. So my goals there are to continue the work I've been doing, raising excellent Russian queens, and just really get certified as a Russian honeybee breeder.
Okay, and how much do you think bees impact our environment?
Oh man, tremendously. I live in an agricultural area. Working with my farmers, they appreciate us being there. They appreciate the bees very much. Northeast Arkansas there, they produce so much food for the U.S., even the soybeans and even rice that's nothing to do with the bees, but a lot of vegetable farmers, even cut flower farms there, so very important.
And also, what are the challenges for you?
There's so many, so I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to say the same as a lot of people like Varroa or whatever, so I was trying to get a little creative with it, but I guess as a small producer, one of the biggest challenges is trying to be different from other producers, trying to be competitive in a different way. Where I'm at, there are a lot of commercial beekeepers, so it's been important for me to fit in different ways. So I've expanded comb honey production more because there's not a lot of people doing comb honey production. I've started a little agritourism at my honey farm, building a screened-in classroom for tours, and doing consulting and teaching, things like that. So just trying to diversify my bee business. That's been a challenge and a difficult thing, to do something different than other beekeepers.
Thank you for that. And if anybody wants to find you, or Instagram or Facebook, where can they find you?
Crane's Nest Honey on Instagram and Facebook.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Alright, so a lot of you guys may wondering why I switched my name, and I'm just going to tell you here because I'm going to forget to tell you guys later. So I switched my name because I have dyslexia. I have an IUP for dyslexia, and I figured there is no better way of making a business than switching my whole entire name to the Backward Beekeeper, or just Backward Beekeeper. And I'm going to be trying to do some more things with that, including starting something with that name. But I'm gonna have a long way to go, and hopefully I can get some stuff started with that name. So thank you guys for watching. I'm going to end the video off right here. I really hope you like this video and thinking about coming here next year. It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and I hope I see you guys next year. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Peace out.